COVID aside, we got football. We got NBA free agency. We got Steve Cohen. We got New York Yankee baseball. We got Taysom Hill starting. And, of course, that brings out all the ugly heads out there about why Jameis Winston isn't getting the nod. We got tons of stuff. We got Scarface. We got movies. We got push-ups. And we got ice cream. Good afternoon, Evan Roberts. How are you today?
And we got flip-flopping from Craig Carton.
Who, moi?
You.
How did I flip-flop? I'm very, very consistent,
Never.
unwaveringly so.
The other day, I brought up the name Gordon Hayward.
Yes, not a fan of Gordon Hayward.
Not a fan. I don't want
not
him.
alone, that's right.
I'm not interested. No thank you. No gracias. All of a sudden, I'm on Twitter last night. I'm saying, what's my buddy Craig up to?
Uh-huh.
And you're tweeting about, if we get Russ and we get Gordon Hayward, we're going to be a playoff team.
That's right.
And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell happened?
Very good question.
That's you.
I'm not a flip-flopper.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. If I may, sir. If I may,
Go ahead.
plead my case here to you, sir.
Sure.
Listen, Gordon Hayward alone does not excite me. Not a fan. He's not the player he was a couple years ago, which landed him the big Wood deal from the Boston Celtics. Mm-hmm. Injuries and listen, he's just not the same guy, all right? But if I'm building a team, and this is not a one-man show team, if I got Gordon Hayward alongside a number one option, so Hayward doesn't have to carry the load, and he could be option number 2, or heck, maybe option number 3, Gordon Hayward becomes more appealing to me. Now, I didn't say, ooh, I want Gordon Hayward by himself. I never said that. Mm-hmm. If Westbrook is an option, and I don't think the Knicks are getting him, but he's still an option.
Right.
And we certainly have the money to get him if we wanted him. And I could get Westbrook and then add a Hayward with the other young talent I've now assembled on this team. That, to me, is an immediate playoff team. That would be a great job by the New York Knicks brass. I don't think you would deny that.
Pull up a chair and tell me if you think this analogy works. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, bars are about to close. You've had a lot to drink, and you're at the point of, I just don't want to go home alone.
What's your name?
I'm sick of going home alone. I go home alone every single night. I don't care who I go home with, but I ain't going home alone. That is the Knick fan on this Friday. That is the every Knick fan on this radio station, because basically it's just everybody's a Knick fan, whether it's Moose or it's G or it's everybody's a Knick fan. And that's fine. I get it. I'm outnumbered 57-1. That's fine. But all of you are reeking of desperation. And you don't need to be desperate, man.
How is Westbrook and Gordon Hayward desperation?
Because Gordon Hayward is a guy who I can't trust to stay healthy. Okay? 2 out of the last 3 seasons, that's been an issue. He's going to be 30 years old. You're going to have to give him a 3, maybe 4-year deal. He's not going to have a tradable contract a year or 2 from now when you realize you've made a huge mistake. And so, how does this help you win an NBA championship down the road? Well, it doesn't.
It does.
So you're desperate.
I'm
desperate for entertainment.
I get the entertainment for sure, but I'm an immediate postseason team.
And what does that get you?
That gets me into the dance.
Spanking. It gets you a spanking from the Bucks or the Celtics or maybe my team.
The Miami Heat just went to an NBA final.
Oh, this team's as good as the Heat? Gordon Hayward, Russell Westbrook, RJ, Obi Toppin, that's as good as the Miami Heat.
With one addition. With one addition.
What's that?
And I have to be allowed to add that one addition.
Go ahead. What's your
Because that guy happens to be available. And that guy,
I'm coming home.
ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the second act of my main man, the mellow man, Carmelo Anthony. Serious conversations taking place that might result in arguably the best guy in the league in the bubble, over 30 years old this past season, Carmelo, my man Anthony. Shut your face. That's a team that has a chance to make a run.
What do you think? I'm curious.
Oh, look who showed up.
Melo statue.
My man Melo sitting right next to me. What's up, kid?
What do you think I'm going to say right now? If you had to predict, you know me, you know I look out for the Knicks fans. I'm out here looking out for you. What do you think I'm going to respond to that with Melo? I'm just curious. Predict it.
I don't want to hear it.
No, you don't know. I'm just curious. Do you know what I'm going to say about Melo?
I do have no idea what you're going to say about Carmelo Anthony.
I think you guys should totally bring in Carmelo Anthony.
You damn net fan.
I got 2 reasons.
Go ahead.
2 reasons.
Yeah.
Number 1, it's going to be a short-term deal. And I got no issue with short-term deals. No issue at all. And if you bring him in on a 1-year deal and he plays great, who knows, maybe you trade him at the trade deadline, get something for him. But the other reason why I want Melo really badly is I was listening to the morning show this morning, and the anger, and I don't know why, Craig, you got to help me out.
Go ahead.
Both Boomer Esiason, who you worked with, and Greg Giannotti, who I love, they hate Melo.
They're stupid.
Fact, Giannotti said, and I quote,
"Stupid.
If the Knicks sign Melo, I'm done. I'm rooting for the Nets."
Number 1, that's stupid.
What?
Number 1, that's stupid. Number 2, it's ridiculous. Number 3, listen, if you want to do Mets fans for Yankees, just tell me and I'll give you the rights to it for a day. I mean, let's come up with our own stuff. No, I'm leaving this team to root for that team. Let's at least be original in what we're going to do, number 1. Number 2, it's stupid. Number 3, we can say all we want about Carmelo Anthony and how his tenure did not deliver what we expected it to and hoped it would. It did not. We had that one legitimate season, 54 wins, playoff win being, all right, we know how it ended. It didn't end well. We also get ourselves all caught up, and this is where Boomer's coming from, in how Carmelo Anthony reacted to Jeremy Lin. And that's really the basis of his anger.
That's where it comes from?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Carmelo Anthony, and I believe this to be factual as well, was upset with the attention and the way people viewed Jeremy Lin during that one run when, frankly, he had a week he was the best player in the league.
Oh, it was incredible.
Right?
Incredible.
And that's where the anger stems from. There's also a belief that Carmelo Anthony poisoned Porzingis Smith. There is that belief amongst people that Porzingis Smith became a Madonna by watching how Carmelo Anthony acted as a superstar in the league. Right. Whether you believe it or not, to me, is irrelevant.
It's garbage, actually, but okay.
If you want to view basketball with any knowledge whatsoever, which apparently other people here don't want to do, and that's on them. Listen, I can only worry with you about 2 to 7. If you watch Carmelo Anthony play, and I did, and recognized what great shape he was in, number 1, he's not lazy. He was in legit prime shape, and how he played. Why wouldn't you want Carmelo Anthony back?
Craig,
assuming it's a 1-year deal, maybe 2, but whatever it is.
I'm always going to be honest with you. I think Carmelo Anthony gets a terrible rap around here. I think a lot of what you said is spot on. I don't understand the dislike that comes for him. And so if they brought him back, I'm being serious.
I'm all in on it.
I'm not really out here just to bust on you and Knicks fans. I'm honest. I've told you what I would do if I was running the Knicks. And I think Leon Rose has done a lot of that. Acquiring Ed Davis, bringing in second-round picks, using cap space as a weapon. Bringing in of Red VanVleet, I think, is a smart move because I think it's a contract that's tradable a year or 2 from now, and that has to be on your mind. Melo on a 1-year deal is not a bad thing.
I agree.
It really is.
And by the way, there's no reason at all to have such a dislike.
I don't get it.
For Carmelo Anthony. Listen, I really view myself as one of the biggest Knicks fans there is, and I was not thrilled with some of the things that happened with Carmelo, and I talked about them when I was still here. But if to say, I'm not even going to comment on that. Oh, I'm going to root for the Nets if the Knicks, shut up. What are we talking about? Go. Who cares? I mean, like, are Knicks fans sitting back going, oh, my God, Giannotti's not going to root for the Knicks with us? Like, are we at that point in our careers where our egos are so large where Knicks fans are going to beg him not? No, please, Greg, please don't root for the Nets. Please don't do it. And by the way, Carmelo Anthony played his ass off here for the far majority of the time that he was here with a bad shoulder for half that time. And brought the Knicks the only winning season we've had in 20 years. This
is something you and I are just not going to disagree on.
Good.
I think Carmelo was disrespected. And here's what I would love about Melo if I was a Knicks fan, because I do try to put myself, in all seriousness, in the shoes of a fan base when I don't root for them. This guy wanted you. He wanted you badly. He wanted to be here. Every other superstar flirts with you, acts like they want you, but they don't.
Yes.
This guy did.
Yep.
And again,
by the way, he forced his way here, and we gave up everyone to get him. But you're right. Here's a guy that was a superstar in the prime of his career who said, the only place I want to go is the Garden.
That's right.
How many guys have done that?
And you know what else he did? Keep this in mind. The Nets, my team, was supposed to get him, and he refused.
That's right.
He wanted you, and that should be something. This is what I don't understand, not just about those guys, but other Knicks fans, a dislike for him. Here's a bottom line. You got to be smart in free agency. Think 2 steps ahead. Think 3 steps ahead. I totally understand you want to win right now. I do. And you should want to win right now. I'm not a believer in tanking. But you got to do it thinking to yourself, okay, this helps me in the short term. How does this help me in the long term, too? Fred VanVleet, if he leaves Toronto, I don't know if he will, can do that. Gordon Hayward doesn't. I'm being honest with you. I don't think Russell Westbrook does either. So improve your team, collect assets, try to win right now, and think 3 steps ahead. And for now, for this moment, I actually believe in Leon Rose. I don't think he's going to do the dumb things that you want him to do and some other Knicks fans want him to do.
Well, there are. Listen, I'm impetuous. There are times, yes, I want it. I want it now, Daddy. I want the golden egg, and I want to eat it now, Daddy. Where is I want all the golden chickens in the room. I want the golden egg right away, Daddy. Okay, honey, whatever you want, you may have. Yeah, there are times I'm not going to even at,
right now is that moment.
Well, listen, I want it all. Why wouldn't I? I've never gotten any
of it. You want the 7 seed? That's all of it now?
Get
the 8 seeds, all of it now?
I just have to say, if I could just share a personal moment with you, Evan, I don't know how I'm going to live if Craig Giannotti doesn't root for the Knicks.
I shouldn't have even said that.
How am I going to?
I shouldn't have even brought it up.
Please don't, please. We need you. Did I really have him? You busted my chops on that.
I think both of them actually said it.
I did not hear that.
And
I was taking my kids to school.
There is nothing. I'm seriously. There's nothing about the teams I root for that would make me say I'm not going to root for them ever again. Let alone a guy who overall, I'm not telling you Melo was the greatest Knick of all time. We had that discussion briefly yesterday. It's Walt Clyde Frazier. It's not a debate. But I don't get how any Knick fan would have such a negative feeling towards Carmelo Anthony as if he's the Grinch.
I told you why.
It's stupid. I get why.
I'm not telling you it's not stupid, but you asked why. I'm just filling in the blanks. You can argue that's not a worthy enough reason, but that's the reason for many people.
And let me tell you something else. I don't know what Melo wants. If Melo decides to come back here on a 1-year deal and leaves what's a really good situation in Portland, that's another example of how much he loves you.
He does love. Listen, he's a New York guy, man. Plus, you may not think this goes anywhere. It does in the social circles of many NBA players. Carmelo Anthony is one of those guys all the guys like. Mm-hmm. He's got credibility amongst all the guys of all ages. He's one of those dudes, right? He brings credibility amongst the guys, the union, back to Madison Square Garden and the Knicks. You know, there are those people who believe, I am not among them, who believe, considering what happened with Charles Oakley, considering, the Black Lives Matter issue from 6 months ago with the Garden not putting out a statement, all that stuff, right? That there are certain guys that won't consider the Garden.
Right.
I don't believe that. I've never believed that. And the notion that, James Dolan's racist is the dumbest thing I've heard maybe in my lifetime, okay? But a guy like Carmelo Anthony saying, I'll play there. Mm-hmm. I got no problem at the end of my career going back to Madison Square Garden does carry weight, whether you want to believe that or not, with a lot of guys in the league.
You know what carries weight?
And I'm saying that because that means other guys would say, well, if Melo's willing to play there, well, I'm going to at least listen.
Well, you know what? I think it's very simple with the Garden and with the Knicks. It's very, very simple. If they build a team that's winning, and I'm not saying championships, but a good basketball team, people will come. For the last decade, the hope is people will come to be a savior. Most people don't want to be a savior. But if you come here because they're winning games, people will start to say, hey, I'd play at Madison Square Garden. I think that worked for my basketball team. I think the reason why stars, specifically 2 of them, considered the Nets was because not that they were a championship team, they were a good team. They had a nice core that they're about to get rid of, by the way.
Right.
That's all you got to do. And that's why the process in the brain of Leon Rose, who for the moment I trust with the moves he's made, is just about building a sustainable winner, not a short-term fix because it's 2 a.m. and you just don't want to go home alone.
Well, we got a few hours away from it being officially free agency. Of course, there's tons of football. I don't know why this is on the schedule, but it is. The Jets are going to play. They're going to play. They're going to play the San Diego Chargers and
The Los Angeles Chargers.
the San Diego Chargers.
Nah, you're right.
They're
The
playing.
San Diego Chargers.
They're playing the Chargers.
You're right.
And my main man, Mark Sanchez, who has, unlike the rest of us, walked a mile in the shoes of Sam Darnold. And Mark does a great job now on TV. I think very funny. Says, and I'm quoting now for Sam Darnold: "Time to move on from the Jets."
Well, he doesn't get that choice, Craig.
No, he doesn't,
The
but-
Jets are making that choice.
And what I told you yesterday, you're seeing it. Flacco starts, Darnold doesn't. Gase came out and said he has a good shot of starting next week. But I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised if you don't see Darnold play another game in the Jet uniform.
But you understand.
And Sanchez agrees he should be
Craig,
Gonzo like Bonzo.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I am saying is that's stupid. That's a stupid strategy. If you think Sam Darnold missing more games due to injury is going to save or help his trade value, you're insane. It doesn't help. The only thing that will help Sam's trade value is to go out and play well.